check it out. This episode is actually a Q&A from a guy that I knew about 10 years ago in college, and he is kind of aspiring to, get into the social media world, and wanted some Q&A about how I grew some of the community that I have, and just kind of general tips and tricks around social media. I hate the word tips and tricks, by the way, so I gotta think of something else. It's probably too late to edit that out. Anyway, so this is basically a general conversation of the concepts that I use in my daily life to, grow a community. One interesting thing that he talked about as I was talking about some of this was he said that it sounds as though you treat this as a business. And I guess I did think about it that way, but I never heard it from someone else in that tone. So that was really interesting to hear. And I do treat this as a business. I take it very, very seriously. And I guess the question that I would have for you, since you're listening to this, you're probably also interested in maybe growing a social media audience or doing something like that. The question I have to you is, how long have you tried to do what you've been doing? And if you haven't seen any progress, right? Because a lot of people will do this, they don't see progress right away. And to me, I always thought about it as it's a very long-term game, very, very long-term game. But I do see a lot of people that want to have an audience, want to have a community, want to be successful on social media, and they give up after a couple weeks. Or how many 3 podcasts or 3 YouTube video channels are there out there in the world right now? So I guess what I'm asking is, if you want this to be a giant part of your life or your life, why are you giving up after 3 episodes, and why are you not treating this as a business and taking it as seriously as you can? So with that, let's get into the episode with Mr. Sam Bradway.
Like you mentioned, I've got probably 10, 15, 20 reels, something like that now. I'm using reels mostly because you hear that they get a lot of traction.
That's right.
The majority of them, 20, 40 views, something like that. I think I got 3 or 4 with 3,000, and then I've got a few that are in the 500 to 1,000 range, but most of them are nothing. And I have no idea. Yeah. Is it luck? Is it timing? Is it what is it that's happening? So
when I was looking at it, I noticed a couple patterns. One was some of your your higher viewed videos actually had where it was you lifting, but it was the background audio was some inspirational talk, Jocko Willink, or some other person that was talking, and you were doing the lifting in the background as the video, right? I thought that was pretty interesting. That was really cool. I also liked how you are you have this thing that's a road to something, right? So when people are going to follow, they want to know if you're going to hit that goal. And so really playing that up, I think, is perfect. You know what I mean? And you're not even playing it up. I mean, it's just it's real life. But keeping up with, people want to see the end of that story. Is Sam Bradway going to get this 390 or whatever the hell the number? I don't know. This guy could eat me. So I don't know what.
Yeah, that's not true though. Don't start spreading that. You're at what, purple belt? No.
Yeah, but you know what? I just got my ass whooped 2 days ago. I got tapped out 6 times in a 4-minute round by another purple belt, but this dude should be a brown belt. Let's be honest. I actually saw him tap out a black belt 3 times after me. So I was like, okay, maybe I don't suck, but this dude is crazy. But anyway, so that's one thing I noticed. I also noticed this was really cool. One of your last reels, you had people looking at you when you were lifting, and you were identifying them. Person number 1, and then you were just kind of saying something, and then person number 2. I loved it. That I
Mm.
think that's like an interesting angle, interesting spin on that, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
And then, but really, when you post it, you kind of be, do you want to inspire, entertain, or educate? That's kind of like the three things that you want to make sure you're hitting: inspire, entertain, or educate. And I think with the first thing that I just said, you were inspiring. You had you lifting with them, or with the audio in the background of it, some inspirational talk. And then with the last one I was just talking about, you're entertaining because you are, these people are watching you, as and they don't think that they're even on camera. And so the viewer's thinking, oh, this is kind of interesting. I want to see how this turns out, or I want to see this next guy's reaction, right?
Mm.
So when you do these reels, which you are 100% correct, reels all the way. I wouldn't even post another picture on Instagram for as long as this algorithm is the way it is. I wouldn't even post another photo, because there's no, you're right, there's no traction on it. But there is with the reels. When you are posting these short form videos, they're not YouTube videos, right? YouTube videos have a long story structure to them, but when you have these short videos, 10 to 30 seconds, you have to get your point across very fast. So you got to be thinking about, okay, if I'm the viewer, when am I going to disengage with this content? And so one of the first things you want to do is, whatever piece of content that you want to have some sort of hook. So if you think about when I was doing the climbing one, right? My hook was how I almost fell off a mountain. Somebody scrolls like that, they see that, they're like, I need to watch the rest of this video. How the hell did he almost do that? So like the hook is one of the, and you have to hook them within 3 seconds, because I mean, I don't really. So one thing that I'll do too is, my reels are from TikTok. And right now, TikTok is your best place to grow. Reels, you can still do it on Reels. When I hit 15K, I've been at the same follower count for months and months. But there was a time in the summer where Instagram was really pushing Reels, and I was picking up people left and right, dude. And now it's slowed a lot. But TikTok is still, you still have really good, is what's called organic reach. So you don't have to put paid ad spend behind it, right? Like you could literally create an account today. I saw this today, actually. I was surfing TikTok looking for video ideas. I literally saw an account get created. They had 1.2 million views on their first video.
Just goes viral, or
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny, because it was actually a video of Tom Brady, and it was him talking about some sort of game where he's like, yeah, man, we got fucking hammered. It was kind of a meme where it was saying, when you talk with your college buddies on Saturday morning about the night at the frat party Friday night or something,
Yeah.
So it was actually, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, dude, it was their only post.
Crazy.
So the fact that you're already making reels, you can actually, what you can do, dude, promise me that after this call, you will go and you will, first of all, create a TikTok.
I'll think about it. That's for sure. You got to remember, this is my first venture into online stuff of basically any sort. Like I don't have a Facebook right now. Don't have
Facebook's
YouTube,
lame.
any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have a LinkedIn, barely ever use it, and only ever for work purposes, things like that. But we'll see. But
so
go ahead, tell me why.
I want you to think about this. When you are looking for a house or like a piece of land, right? You want to get in there before the market gets hot, so that it's a land grab, right? So you get in for cheap, and then you sit on it, and then you grow it, and then you have equity in that house, right? It's the same thing with TikTok right now. The reason I was able to have such a big following is because I got in at the right time. Have you ever looked on, you say you don't use YouTube, but have you ever looked on,
I watch YouTube stuff, but
YouTube,
I don't have it. Yeah.
So there's some people on there, I've been like, how the hell do you have 100K subscribers or 40K subscribers? I don't get it.
Hmm.
And it's because they were in YouTube back in 2016, 2017. That's when they were posting. They got big. They got big. Everybody, there was so little supply for the demand of the videos, right? And it's the
Hmm.
same thing on TikTok right now. And it was the same thing with Instagram 6 months ago, but it's kind of going down a little bit.
Hmm.
At least that's what I've noticed. So the fact that you're already creating reels, all you do is you take it to a watermark eraser, like you know how we used to download MP3s from YouTube to put them on our iTunes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like you put it in a little weird converter like that, and it just spits out your video without the Instagram watermark. Because if you
Hmm.
download your Instagram videos, it'll have a little Instagram watermark. You don't want that, but it'll download it with just the regular video, and then you just put that into TikTok, and it's literally the same thing. You don't have to do anything. I mean, it's literally the same thing. So you don't have to create any extra media. It's already
Yeah,
there.
that's one thing because I have been like watching people a bit and seeing what people do, and I've noticed that a lot of people who do really well at this, they recycle content
Yes.
like, but not even just like how you said it is literal. Like here's the video, same exact video over here. But like
Right.
you'll see it where they'll post something like it'll just be like a Twitter thing where it's just the words of it, and then that basically will be the like they'll put that underneath an Instagram post and then the
Yeah.
Instagram post
Yeah.
goes over, so it's like they're
Yeah.
hitting like a
Mhm.
bunch of different things all with kind of maximizing the reach with the minimum amount
Exactly.
of work.
Yeah,
um
exactly. Because you're recycling your micro content. Like you're making micro content out of your pillar content. So you have your pillar content, and then you can break it all down into different little forms.
okay,
But yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
hit on you said pillar content, hit on that for me for a second.
So your pillar content. So ideally, what you would have is it's a little bit tough with reels and TikToks because it's short form, but it's kind of what you're saying with the somebody tweets something and then they also put that underneath their Instagram caption or whatever, But really,
Mhm.
what comes to mind me is like a pillar content would be your main piece of content. So a long form YouTube video that's, you know, 10, 15 minutes long, but you
Mhm.
take little clips out of there. So for instance, if I was doing I uploaded this to YouTube
Mhm.
and I found a really good 10-second clip out of here where we're talking about something, I would then that would be my micro content out of my pillar content. And then I would put that on a reel or something like that.
Gotcha. Kind of like
Mhm.
writing a book and then taking a chapter out of it and making it into an essay and then putting like a
Yes.
paragraph of it off on Twitter or something like that. Same idea.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I get you. That
Yep.
makes
Yep.
sense. You talked about something, and I'm curious about this because this is something that it's like there's a balance that I want to strike, and like I said, I'm super new, so I'm learning along the way. So, how much of what you put out is it you're looking at the algorithm, you're looking at what's popular, you're looking at that, and then you're like designing content that's kind of specific to you about that, versus how much do you just say, this is what I want to fucking say, so here we go.
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. Yeah. So what does my audience want versus what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think if you decide what you want to do, which I mean, we kind of talked about it, like your interest is in fitness that's just the easiest thing I want to go with right now. Cause
Sure.
you might not do that for the rest or whatever, but as long as you start putting out things that you want to do, you're going to attract the people that want to see those posts. Right.
Mm.
But whenever you post, you want to have your kind of ideal audience in mind or your ideal like avatar in mind, they call it. And one of the easier ways to do that is you have a business account or a creator account, I think, on Instagram. So you can toggle your thing instead of having a personal account, you can have a creator account or it's a business account, one or the other.
Mm.
I think it's creator account. What that does is that you'll see your analytics there. So if I pulled mine up right now, I know that 68% of the people that follow me are female and they're aged 24 to 35. So do
Got
I
that pretty
post?
face, Chad.
Right, right. So it's like, do I post, real hardcore David
Mm.
Goggins type shit on there? Sometimes, but it doesn't, I know that it doesn't really resonate with my like core audience for the most part.
Okay.
So I got to think about that. But so as you're building it though, you can kind of post whatever the hell you want to though. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of siphoning out what you want to post, who's going to be following you. But once you start getting that core group, you can start checking those analytics and being like, okay, you know, this resonates a little, this might resonate a little bit more with this group. This might resonate a little bit less. So maybe I won't post that. But it's always good to try stuff too, you know, but maybe just have like a core theme of what it is that you're doing. But it always comes back to, right? So your reels are great. Going forward, ask yourself, what is my audience getting out of this? Right. So it comes back to that: inspire, educate, or entertain. One of the things I was thinking with yours is, because you're a personal trainer, dude, you could like combo. So the things that are working for you, which is one, you're entertaining with the people watching you, right? But then you also are inspiring with the other part of the audio. But you could have little pop-ups of tips or whatever it is that you're doing there. I don't know, like some sort of squat tip or something like that, right? Because the other thing is, when you're doing it, you want to have pattern interrupts. So just having one angle, it gets boring, right?
Sure. You
So
mean
even
like camera angle, or you mean?
yeah, like
Okay.
camera angle. So if that's the case, what can you put on the screen to interrupt that pattern of just that view of you lifting? So that could be like a pop-up of some text that they could read, just like you did with the people, which was good. Which was great, right? So what are the pattern interrupts? How can I keep my viewer engaged to watch this? Because the biggest metric that, Instagram looks at is watch time. Are they watching your whole video? Which brings me to another point, which is cut all the fat. Don't have shit in there that you don't need. You might think it's cool and it took you all day to film it. Don't put it in there. If it's not relevant to the video, do not put it in there. And I've had to learn this the hard way because you know, you take a lot of stuff. I really like making YouTube videos, and I have to cut a ton of stuff out. I mean, that Mount Hood video that I posted on YouTube ended up 5.5 minutes, and I had so many videos from that, but none of them, I kept asking myself, does this make sense in the story, or does this drive the story? I was like, no. So I had to throw it out.
Yeah.
So with short clips, especially, you have to get your point across fast.
Yeah. Do you know, I haven't actually like looked at the algorithm myself, and it's basically just off of hearing what other people say about it. You said listening to the whole thing or longer. Is it just getting to the end of the video, or is it literally like time? So like if it's a 10-second video and they watch the whole video versus a 30-second video and they watch 20 seconds, obviously 20 seconds is longer than 10 seconds, but it's
Right.
2/3 of the video rather than the whole video. Do you have any idea on that? Is that?
Yeah, percentage of the watch. Yeah, percentage
Okay.
of the video. Yeah.
So a
Good
10-second
question,
video that they
You'd
watch
want,
the whole thing is better than a 30-second video they watch 20 seconds of.
I would say, yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Because that would be 2/3 of the video versus 100%. But you also got to figure out what are, and this just comes with time, but like, what is the best length of video for my audience? Because your audience is probably going to prefer one type of video. You know, 30-second video is kind of a long video on a reel, right? Like on a reel, it's kind of long. On YouTube, it's not long. So what's the language of the platform that you're using? So reels is, it's got to be for sure 30 seconds or less usually. And ideally, like you're saying, like 10, probably 10 almost. Yeah.
Do you have any? I've tried to cut some stuff out in a few of them when I looked at it, and it just looks super choppy. And so I've like left some clips in longer because the choppiness just looked weird to me. You got anything for that?
Is it the same? What are you cutting? Give me
I
an
don't know. I
example.
was just like, again, I'm so brand new to this. I'm just playing with it, but pretty much what I've been doing, because also because I'm new to this and because I'm more just trying to get in the habit of actually posting, because I had never posted. I had Instagram for
Right.
like over a year and literally never posted a single thing myself. So I was just trying to just like get in the habit of actually putting something on there. So what I've been doing is just like go to the gym. I have a program I'm doing right now. I'm doing there's a first quarter strength challenge that I'm doing. So
Mhm.
basically at the end of next month, I'm going to be trying to max out on uh, bench, deadlift, and squat, and then unbroken pull-ups is the other one.
Sweet.
And it's like a percentage based thing to see percentage against body weight, to see like overall strength. And so I'm filming for the majority of it. I'm just filming my like main lifts or like my working sets. There have been a few times where I've like filmed the warm up sets as well. I did one where it was like I was squatting and it was like one plate, did a squat, two plates, did a squat, two plates, and a
That's cool.
25 did a squat, kind of a thing,
I
trying to
like
like
that.
mess
I
with
like
that.
that.
So I was just playing around with it that way. But otherwise, it's just things um, like just there's a you see people do it. I don't know if people just walk into gyms and just have like a full on crew and just like set up shop and like take
Dude,
films for like
right?
30 seconds. They're like, oh, now I'm done
I
with that one. Go set up over here. So for me, it's literally like I set my phone up
you're
somewhere, I hit
right.
record, I just let it go. The videos are usually somewhere from like
Right.
45 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on how long it takes me to do the lift, and then I'll like
Right.
just cut it down when I get it
Right.
to the
Right.
post. So um but like sometimes you want to see like, oh, can I show like the walk up and start of the setup, and then all of a sudden I
Right.
spend 15 seconds messing with
Right.
my footing and I don't want to put that in there, so then I would
Yeah.
like cut that out, but then it just looks super choppy, and so I don't know, it was
Right.
I don't know how people do, because like sometimes you watch those things and it looks like a goddamn movie production.
Production. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have
Yeah.
anything for that.
So definitely one of the things I think that I always do this weekly is I kind of always am looking around on TikTok, or mostly TikTok, because again, that's kind of where I just cross pollinate.
Hmm.
But I look at people in my niche and what are they doing or how are they filming their videos? Like, what's their style? And you don't
Hmm.
want to obviously copy it, but it will give you a better indication of what the cadence is to their
Hmm.
cuts, how long their videos are, and what are they showing versus not showing,
Hmm.
right? Like, do you need, every part of your entire lift, or can you get the point across in, three different clips that you jump cut together, go
Hmm.
from cut to cut to cut. So researching creators in your subject field,
Hmm.
super powerful. And I know it's, because I don't like being on. So one thing you've probably noticed too is, because not being a fan of like Instagram and stuff anyways, right, is you don't really want to consume the media on there. I don't want to waste my time on there,
Hmm.
right? But think of this as an investment. So you're consuming people that are in your niche for research, right? To make
Hmm.
your content better. And so I make time for that every week to just go through, and I'm just searching people, looking at what they're doing. Can I bring, I bring in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then you form your own style. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but it's a great way to do it, to mix in some other stuff there.
Yeah. You touched on something a few times now, I feel like a little bit, and I wrote some notes down here because I didn't know where we were going to go with this, but um you're sponsored by two different things now, and right, is that right?
Yeah, kind of.
And
Yeah,
then
pretty much.
what we'll get to that, but I was basically going to say, you look like you're taking it seriously, as in
Right.
like almost business minded, or
Right.
like that long term thinking, rather than just like it's not something you're dabbling in, it's something you're doing. And so like at some point, one of the things that I was interested in is trying to figure out, like, I mean, people make money off this kind of stuff. I don't think that I'm anywhere. I mean, like, I'm a ways down the road, but you're never going to get there unless you start.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of either generating revenue or um, like sponsorship opportunities or things like that, um, I guess how did that come about for you? Is that something you like
Yeah.
actively were looking for sponsorship for stuff, or was that more of just you were doing this thing and then people started reaching out to you? And like, what level do you feel like you need to hit before you start getting
Yeah.
to something like that? Or yeah, that
So
go with that.
here's the thing, man. I still had 1,000, maybe 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I was starting to get hit up by these brands and stuff like that. And it's kind of a ladder system of how these brands work. I had no idea how this all worked at all, right? But what brands will do is they find these micro influencers, people that have some sort of following, and typically your first foray into this whole thing will be getting free products for a post, right? So these companies would just hit me up. You have your email in your Instagram so that they can click it and then send you it, or they'll DM you and be, hey, we'll send you this or whatever for a post and blah blah blah, or will you do a post for us? And I was like, cool, dude, yeah, like you're interested in me, sick. I'll do it. I'll do it all day, man. Socks and walkie talkies, sure. But yeah, some of the times they would send you real irrelevant stuff, and which I was like, nah, that's not going to work for me. But that's how it first starts. So it's free product. So a post for a free product, right? And I was also hitting companies up too, smaller ones. Hey, can I, do this for free, or can I post for free if you give me this, a trekking pole or something like that? But most of them will start hitting you up after a certain threshold that you reach of followers. It seems like if you can get to 1,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok, you'll start getting these emails and DMs of free product for whatever, for a post, which you should, I think you should take a few of them for sure, but you don't want them to, water down your entire account either. So once I started noticing that, well, that was the thing. I didn't realize, like, what can I charge for a post? What do you do? Look online? Like, it's hard what's the market value of what I'm doing? I have no idea, dude. So I would always, once I got to that level, once I started growing more, I don't accept the free product anymore for a post, because if you think about it, it's like, oh, I have so many followers, and if only a couple people buy, they already twice. I mean, they just advertise off of me.
Yeah.
And now they're making money off of my posts for not paying me. So then you get into like the price stuff. But yeah, so usually it'll be brands in your niche, smaller ones. Again, they'll reach out to you, and yeah, that's usually how you do it. The one thing with TikTok has a creator fund where they pay you per however many views you get on your TikToks throughout every day. It's super like minimal. I mean, I probably made $300 on it in a year and a half or something, but Instagram is now doing Instagram bonuses, but I haven't been eligible to get that. So a couple ways that you can do it.
Did you get into this because you were trying to fund? Because obviously, I mean, anybody that is watching this knows that you're into like kind of extreme hiking and like mountain climbing and probably like ultra races or like long distance running and those kinds of things. Was this like, did you get into this because you were wanting to find a way to do that more, or what was your like? What was your end?
So it was during the pandemic, and my brother told me to listen to this podcast. Well, yeah, this podcast by Gary V. And Gary Vaynerchuk is great for social media stuff. You should listen to him. And you know what he's going to tell you? Sam fucking Bradway, you need to get a TikTok. That's what he's going to tell you, because that's what he told me in 2020. So when I was talking about this land grab, right? 2020, TikTok was real hot. Organic reach was through the roof because there was nobody creating on that thing. So I started creating. Nothing hit. I came back from the John Muir Trail, randomly uploaded a video about eating nor rice sides out of the bag when you're through hiking. Blew up, and that's what started it. And so that worked. It was a hiking tip. So I just kept doing more hiking tips, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, eventually the algorithm changed, so I had to kind of switch up my stuff. But that doesn't even answer your question. So yeah. So ever since then, once I started growing, I saw that this was a possibility to get out of the 9 to 5.
Mhm.
And, I mean, that's still my goal. I need to get out of just going to work every single day and just being in that consistent pattern of in and out. It kills me, dude. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of the freedom that I want. And I also feel like if you do cool shit in the mountains, a lot of people do cool shit in the mountains, but how good are you at, you don't have to be the best one. You just have to be the best at producing it or connecting with people or your audience,
Mhm.
right? So same with you. It's like, well, maybe you're not the best personal trainer in the entire world, but if you're able to market it and connect with people and market yourself, like you can have success in the industry.
Yeah,
So
no, that's definitely true. So, two things. First off, that's also one of the main things that got me interested in doing this is because the being beholden to a schedule that somebody creates for you rather than you create for yourself is definitely a big thing for me right now. We were talking before we started recording about the fact that I got a couple kids at home and stuff now that I'm
right.
involved with all that stuff, and that is just rough to have to be like, oh, you have this thing going on? Nope, sorry, can't because it's in my work hours. Oh, you got this thing
Exactly.
going on? Nope, sorry, got to go do this. And the second thing is, when are you going to start getting all your NFTs going? Because if you're all about Gary
Whoa,
Vaynerchuk,
that
it's
was
the
out of
thing,
left
right?
field there, dude. Holy
But
crap.
hey, I told you I've been paying attention to it. I just haven't
Yeah,
started anything yet. That was
dude.
I wasn't doing any of it.
Right.
I was like, oh, what is this thing? What are you doing? How are you making this happen? But I
Right.
mean, if anybody listens to anything I say today, I feel like the one thing I hope they take out of it is if you're not actually doing anything about it, then you're wasting your fucking time.
You're wasting your time.
So,
Yeah.
um,
NFTs, man. I have a buddy that actually has made some. He's good in Adobe Premiere or Photoshop, and it's really cool. He has this series called Warped Reality. So if you picture a mountain, right, just a
mhm,
mountain, but what he'll do is it's just a regular picture, but he'll bend the sides of it, and it's all funky looking, but it's around the mountain. It's super
yeah,
weird. It's actually really cool. And so he posted them on OpenSea or whatever it is. And I've kind of looked into it, man. And I don't know. I'm not into art like that, first of all.
oh, okay. To be honest with
But
you, I know what they're called. I don't know jack about what they are, so
yeah,
I got nothing.
well, I know. And it's Gary V talks about those too. And it's hard to comprehend them. And I still can't really. And I don't know, man. It's like you were saying though, video games stuff. It's it's similar to you can have skins on Fortnite or something. He always talks about.
Mhm.
So it's goods in a digital world. So you would have this NFT on your wall in your digital house. I don't know, man.
That's okay. Yeah,
But are we
I
too
can
old?
understand.
Is it because we're too old? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know because we are now, in our 30s, 30,
close.
and you're 29 still.
29. I'm the baby of the group.
Son of a ah, dang it, man.
It's all right. I only got a few more months.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
well, I like I said earlier, I had put some notes together because I wasn't sure where this was going to go, and you keep like going right into what I was going to ask you, anyways. So
nice.
you mentioned having a buddy who does edits and that kind of stuff, and I was wondering. So you like doing YouTube videos? Are you
Mm,
100% of the production? Are you filming, editing, doing all
yeah.
of it? Is that all you?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How
fun.
do you just started doing it because it just because you liked it, or what? How do you learn how to do that kind of stuff? You just
Yeah.
pick it up along the way.
It was the same thing of, you're kind of doing cool shit. So why don't you film it? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt. I remember, yeah. I mean, just why don't you film it? Because
Mhm.
it's cool. And why wouldn't people want to see it? I mean, I think it's cool. So, and
Yeah.
I actually got into it. Dude, I filmed my entire John Muir Trail series on my phone,
Hmm.
and I edited it on my phone. KineMaster is this app, very intuitive app, great app, and it
What was
still
that
kind of
one?
use it. It's called KineMaster, KINE Master. Super intuitive app. It actually has a free version to it. You just has the watermark if you want to download it, but it's super cheap for a yearly thing. So I edited off of that. Then I got an iPad, so I had a bigger screen, kept KineMaster. Then I upgraded to this laptop, a MacBook, and I finally got Final Cut Pro so I could do a little bit more stuff,
Yeah.
And so it's been great. That was kind of a learning curve, but yeah, I enjoyed a lot, and it's very intuitive. If you get KineMaster, you'll be like, oh, like I'll just watch a couple tutorials, and actually I don't even watch tutorials. It was just I kind of just picked it up.
Play with it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that you're just going to keep doing that the whole time that you're in this, or because one of the things, which was when I was in the period of like, how do these people do this, even though I wasn't actually doing anything to get started, I was like, well, yeah, some of these people you watch, it's like, well, they have people help them. Like they have somebody film for them, so they don't have to think about that. They have somebody edit for them, so they don't have to think about that. Right. Until I realized, well, they probably had to do it all themselves until they built up to a certain point.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
That was for like I've always been very math and science. I was never very artistically gifted or like inclined, I guess.
Same.
And so like, really, you haven't been?
I actually suck at math too. So maybe I'm just all around stupid. I don't know. But I will say this, dude. When you think about when I was in school, being creative was being good at drawing and that type of stuff. I wasn't into that. But when it comes to this, I'm like, oh, like maybe I am kind of creative. And so I think school kind of stifles you in a bit weird way of, I mean, I was always told I wasn't creative because I couldn't draw worth a shit.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't draw either. Still can't draw.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, I think. Do you think it's that, or do you think it's more because they're telling you what to be creative about, which is kind of counterintuitive? Because like if somebody's like, here, draw a sunshine and rainbow, and you want to draw a volcano, well then your sunshine and rainbow is gonna suck.
Right.
I don't know. I've been trying to get a little better with that kind of stuff. I've been writing a lot lately.
Nice.
So just like 20 minutes a day, every day, I just like stream of consciousness, just like pick a topic and start writing, because kind of the same thing. I've always thought of myself as not the creative type, and never been good at art, wasn't like into film, wasn't into, writing books or giving speeches or anything like that. But then I was kind of like, well, I got some ideas, and it actually helps a lot to write them out, to kind of like flesh out what your ideas actually are and stuff. So I've been playing with that as well.
Might be a good thing to put in your reels, dude. I mean,
I forget the phrase. It's something like, when you know the way broadly you see it in all things, I think is the quote, or something like that.
Jocko says that, I think. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like Tao Te Ching kind of stuff. Like I think that's like old school wisdom somewhere. But it was things like get in jujitsu, get choked out. I'm like, all right, hey coach, I'm getting here, getting strangled. What do I got to do? And he just kind of smiles at you. I'm like, what? He's like, don't get there. It's like, okay, but like once I'm there, how do I get out? He's like, you don't get out of it once you're there. You got to look back 15 minutes and see what happened back there. That kind of stuff really translated over for me a lot for stuff.
That quote, how you said that, you see the way, once you see it one way, you see the way, or however you said it. That's how jiu-jitsu was a huge catalyst for me for everything, honestly, because I realized how bad I was at jiu-jitsu when I first started it, right? Because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just terrible for 6 months. I mean, a year, you're just getting killed. And you have to have that like mentality of, okay, this is a workout, I'm getting better. At least I'm doing more than my friends are, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now, whenever I start something new, like social media, I think of myself as a white belt.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've seen myself progress linearly in jiu-jitsu. So this should be just like it once you put the reps in and stuff. So it is weird. Jiu-jitsu has been a huge rocket for me.
I love that one.
Great one. Bro, I got to get going though. I got to pack for the weekend, but we can definitely do a part 2 if you got more questions or something.
Yeah, we can talk whenever. Like I said, I just kind of, maybe this is just a nice way to compliment you at the end of this, but I've been so bored to tears with people that don't do anything. And so that's one of the things that was really cool to see you, like, man, just like one day you're like running through the woods, and next thing, and all of a sudden it's like you're freaking
Right.
13,000 feet in the air on side of an ice cliff and shit like that. Like, man, that was
Right.
awesome.
Right.
So yeah, I'll
I appreciate
definitely
that, dude.
definitely talk to you whenever you want about that kind of stuff. That's awesome, man.
All right, so I know that that was a little bit of a different podcast than what we're used to in some of the kind of outdoor things here. I did cut off some of it because we did start talking a little bit. We went kind of in the depth about jiu-jitsu and things like that, and I don't think I have a large jiu-jitsu community here, so I spared you some of that, although I enjoyed it. It was a good conversation, but I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, any further questions about social media or anything like that, feel free to ask me. But honestly, the best resource is looking at Gary Vee videos. That was probably the biggest thing that catapulted some of the things that I started doing in social media. And then from there, it just kind of compounded, and then you find other resources. But that's where I would start first. Also, hit me up with some Q&A on Instagram DMs or wherever it is that you consume your social. So we'll see you for the next one.